Welcome everybody to the Pitwall Panic podcast. It is Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are in the states, well, I guess it's Eastern Time everywhere around the world, but um, we are bringing you a fantastic race review. If you are a Charles Leclerc fan, as I am, it was a great day. That being said, make sure you follow us on social medias. We got Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. We've got TikTok, where we use a lot of content. We've got Twitch, and we've got YouTube. You can like, subscribe, follow all those places. Get content for us throughout the week on mostly TikTok, some on Twitter, and then on Sundays at 8:30 on Twitch. And then I try to get the videos up on YouTube every Monday at 12 o'clock. So, that being said, we're going to get into it. We had a good weekend. We had a sprint weekend. Oh, yeah, also, SJ is here with us. Sorry about that. Forgot to do that in a little bit of a rush tonight. How are you doing, SJ?
Yeah, good mate. Was a very I don't know if it was going to be a boring race or a good race, but a lot of people thought it was going to be boring, but it wasn't. It was good,
It was
and
a great
yeah,
race.
um,
Both
it
the
was actually. Yeah,
both the sprint and the Grand Prix were surprisingly like above par compared to usual.
yes, definitely.
Um,
Um,
so I guess let's kind of get into some of the news this week. Earlier this week, this is something that really stuck out to me. Oliver Behrman said he's not surprised that they're falling behind the teams that are around them, and this is his second season, and he's already saying stuff like that. You should worry if you're Haas, in my opinion. That what was it? 2 races into the season, they were fighting for fourth place in constructors, and now they're like in seventh place. That's a problem. Like, how do you fall off that hard? I think it's in my opinion, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, SJ. But is this not historically what Haas does? They start off strong, and then as other teams bring out upgrades, their upgrades are just lacking compared to these other teams.
I think Brundle turned around and said in the commentary while they were doing qualifying that they just don't seem to have the budget for the developments and the upgrades and stuff, which is obviously hindering them going forward. And as you've seen in the past season so far, what we've seen from Behrman and Ocon, the results haven't really gone their way. And since the Japanese incident with Behrman, it's just gone downhill. I think it was a bit unlucky to not get into Q Q3. He got through into Q2, which was a first for a while, but it just doesn't seem to go any further than that. And it just seems to be that they're battling at the moment Cadillac and Aston Martin every week,
I got a.
and Audi and other teams are you know ahead of them.
How much do you know about Gene Haas?
Not too much, to be honest with you.
So the reason why I disagree with him on saying that they don't have the funding is Gene Haas is not new to racing. He's also in NASCAR. I think he's got a NHRA team as well. He's got more money than you realize. Like, the reason he can't leave the country, and this doesn't necessarily say he has a lot of money. The reason he can't leave the U.S. is because he got hit with a felony charge of tax evasion. Um, Dude has a ton of money though, so I don't think it's necessarily that. And they also have, now you have Toyota backing you as well. They shouldn't have issues with doing upgrades. I just think that Gene Haas is a terrible owner. He doesn't take care of things, and if I know a lot of people are going to scream at me for using this as a reference point. If you watch Drive to Survive, how many times was Gunther Steiner, when he was still there, saying, Gene, we need to do this, Gene, we need to do that, and he doesn't want to spend the money? I,
Yeah, it's
Gene Haas is just a cheapskate. That's what it comes down to. And
yeah,
go ahead.
it's an interesting one because it just yeah, I don't know. I think it's a tough one because they just don't seem to. I don't- They're not performing, are they? Ocon hasn't performed for a while, and I think his seat is definitely up in jeopardy as well. And Behrman's just low on confidence, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, and I don't think that Behrman's issue, or not Behrman, I don't think Ocon's issue is the car. I think Ocon just, it's his time to hang it up. I think he was on the decline even when he was still with Alpine, so you can't blame the car at this point. Because when he was at Alpine, they weren't the worst car on the grid. I know people tend to forget about that, but when he was at Alpine, they took like sixth place in the standings in constructors. So they didn't have the worst car, but Ocon did not have a good season. And then he went to Haas and has done absolutely nothing with Haas. So I think it's more of a product of Ocon is just washed up and needs to retire. He needs to go to endurance racing or IndyCar or just hang out of racing.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one because you see them last season, and they did really, really well, and then this season they're just struggling, and you can definitely see it
I
on
really hope
track
I,
as
re-
well.
I really hope they bring Yuki in. And the reason I say that is he is really good at helping develop a car, and Haas needs somebody like that. Because Haas struggles the most at developing cars. They start off strong every season and then slowly but surely slip and fall down the order because they just can't develop a car. At least that's my opinion
Yeah,
on it.
well, he's got experience. He's got experience. He is a little bit of a hot-headed, and he's had a bit of time out. So hopefully he can. It'll be very interesting to see if he can, manage the new cars and such and such. But I don't know. I think you are going to see a change next season with Haas, without a doubt.
It's just a matter of who.
Will they? Yeah, and will they have an investment coming in more? Like you said, they've got the backing of Toyota now, jumping in with a new team. Sad, really, because I thought they would do really, really well. But they've got a prodigy in Behrman who's going to be in the sport for I
For
think
now.
years and years to come.
How
Yeah,
long? How
well,
long does he stick
that's the
around with
thing.
this nightmare?
Well, that's the thing. F1 is ruthless, isn't it? If you lose a seat, 9 times out of 10 you don't get given another opportunity unless you've got the potential to do well. You look at the likes of several drivers, um, they've not been able to get back into it,
Well, when I
and
say when I
some of
say for
them.
now, at what point does Behrman go? Look, this is not furthering my career. Y'all are holding me back. This is ridiculous, and he just goes to Alpine or Williams, where supposedly if they develop the car, it's supposed to be a better car, or Audi, or who knows where he ends up at. But at this point, it almost seems like as long as you're not at Cadillac or Aston Martin, anywhere is better than Haas. Just
Yep,
saying.
yep,
It's
you're right.
it's come to that point, and Williams, while they have their issues, Signs looked really good today. Signs looked really good all weekend. Albon has continued to struggle in that car, but I would also say I think Behrman's a better talent than Albon, so he might be able to compete with Signs. And Signs is competing for points on a regular basis. I say on a regular basis. He puts that car where it should be on a regular basis. And a couple times that's at
Yeah,
least near the points.
not far off.
And so I just, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's talking about being shifted around. Um, could we see him end up at Red Bull if Max leaves? They went after Oscar. Oscar said he wasn't interested, supposedly. You know, they're not going to be able to get George or Kimmy. They're not going to get Lewis. They're not going to get Charles. They're not going to get. I'm trying to think of who else. Who else do you go for at that point? I think Behrman's the next option that they would go for, realistically. And would you rather be at Red Bull or Haas?
Yeah, but then they're going in the same direction as what they went with before, with trying to get another top driver in a car which is only built for technically one person.
Yeah,
So you learn from your mistakes, and you've seen that Liam Lawson in the V Card now has done a fantastic job. I think twice qualified in the top five in Q2, 2 weeks in a row.
yeah.
So and they're scoring points consistently every week. You
But
look at them, they're about P8, P9 every week.
yeah, no, I agree with that. I think. Do I think that Lawson, they would do good to give Lawson another chance? Absolutely. Do I think they would do it? I don't think so. I think we see a better chance of them giving Yuki the seat if Max retires over Liam Lawson. And that might be a little crazy and delusional, but that's honestly where I'm at with that. I don't see them. They're kind of treating Liam Lawson as the redheaded stepchild. And they went with Yuki as, we don't want you driving the car right now, but we want you to stay to help develop the car. So that doesn't make much sense unless you see that he can be beneficial in some kind of way, right?
Yeah.
So, realistically, I think that's a possibility.
Oh, definitely.
1 second, plug in my headset. Beeped at me. Now as
Will it
far
happen
as
though?
yeah, that's the whole $1 million question is, would it happen? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Now
Been there, done that.
the interesting thing that kind of ties in with this, we've already said that they went to Oscar. Oscar was like not having it. Lando came out this week and said that he doesn't plan to leave McLaren. He said there's only one place he'd be interested in going, and that's a very distant future. My guess is probably Ferrari, because every driver always wants to drive for Ferrari at some point in their career. But he's heavily committed to McLaren and is the only team he's considered like staying his entire career at because he views it as family. If you're Oscar and you hear that and you know that they have played favorite to Lando quite a bit, do you see that possibility and go, let me get out and go to a Red Bull or Mercedes if there's an opening that presents itself?
I think that's down to Oscar, isn't it? Because if you look at the last few races, he's been a hit and miss in some.
A lot of
Was really unfortunate.
a lot
But
of that hasn't been his
go on.
fault though. Like today, that
No,
wasn't
no.
his
I,
fault.
I think no. Last night wasn't. But he tried to make a bad situation into a good situation, and Lando was there, and he was probably just driving on his own, and Oscar was obviously trying to fight for points from a very unforeseen circumstance that happened at the beginning of the race. But he has struggled. You have seen that in
Yeah.
the last few weeks, in the last few races. And Lando has always been the favourite, because he's got the funding of obviously the father
Well, not
and
just
bits and
that.
pieces like that.
How many times has Zach Brown said that Lando's like a son to him?
Yeah, no, it's yeah.
You can't tell
Going into
me.
conspiracy theory,
You
is the
can't.
last season's championship.
Well, I'm not going to the conspiracy theory side of that, but you can't tell me that Zach Brown doesn't have a favorite when he makes comments like that. Just saying. Do
Yeah,
I think he would
no,
sabotage
definitely.
one driver to help another driver? No, because if he did, I doubt he would have a job. But that being said, I think he does have a favorite. But then the next question
Yeah,
becomes, how does that affect your junior program? Because you think about it, we have two drivers on the grid that are in their 40s. You have Fernando Alonso, who's 44, and Lewis, who's 41. Well, if you have somebody like Lando, who's arguably a talent like both of them, or at least like Fernando, I won't necessarily say he's the same kind of talent as Lewis, um, but at least comparable to Fernando. And he's saying that, what if he decides to drive till he's in his 40s? They're in their 20s right now. I mean, you're not getting a seat with McLaren in F1 if you're in the junior program anytime soon. unless one of them decides to leave. But then he's sitting here saying he doesn't see that in his future. I feel like that can also hurt their academy spot unless you're just using them for money to get your way up to F1, then do like Oscar did because he was with Alpine and then he dipped out from Alpine to go to McLaren. I don't know. It just makes it interesting to think about. Words carry a lot
I
more
think
weight.
you're always going to see that though, aren't you? You're always going to see like musical seats, as we call it,
Yeah,
jumping, hopping and stuff. And the thing is do you see Piastri in another car? Do you see Lando in another car? Lando didn't actually drop out in his interview where he wants to go.
yeah. I assume it's Ferrari.
Le Mans is probably what he wants to do. It looks like that's been a good talking point.
Yeah.
But, you know, I would Zach Brown let him go? I think the difference is as well that people have got to look at. You look at last season, Lando won the championship, right? This season he's nowhere near.
What?
And it's a massive difference compared to last season, and you can see that McLaren are holding on as much as they
I,
can
I don't
to
think it's a
Mercedes
Lando's.
and Ferrari.
That's not a
Well, I
Lando's
think it's a
fault.
McLaren issue.
Yeah. I
No, it's
knew.
not at all. But what I'm saying is the comparing the two,
I got
your
you.
championship last season. Normally, you're going into a new season, and it's normally the defending champion you've got to be worried about. Now, if you're looking at the season how it's going, Mercedes are the team to watch out for. Now, Ferrari have started bringing upgrades in, and they've now got a little bit closer to Mercedes. McLaren just don't seem to be there, and they need to be very careful that they don't lose gap to them in front, because if they lose it, that's it.
Well, it's
It doesn't look like it's going to be constructors for McLaren. It doesn't look like it's going to be a title for McLaren. So they've then got to go back to the drawing board and think what's right. And is that a few upgrades going into Belgium, going into Spa and Hungary, maybe?
probably. But let's look historically speaking here. Every time McLaren has been good, it's been at the end of a regulation. It's the last 2 or 3 years of a regulation, maybe last 4 years of a regulation, when McLaren look really strong, and then the new regulation kicks in, and they're just nowhere to be found.
But
I
this
say,
regulation won't change
it,
much.
but when I say that, I'm saying like we went from the ground to forced effect era, where they were strong the last 2 or 3 years of it. They changed regulation, and people are surprised they're not there. It's history repeating itself because this is what they always do.
Yeah.
And I don't know why everybody's so surprised by this. I called this before the season started, and everybody said, "Oh no, that's not going to happen. Lando's going to be fighting for a championship." Where is he? He's being held back
Yeah.
by a team with a car that can't compete, which is what I expected. They dumped all their money into that 2025 car while everybody else is going ahead and preparing for 2026. You can't expect that
Yeah.
car to compete in that scenario. It's just not going to happen.
Agreed.
So, let's go ahead, I guess, and shift from the news and go into the race weekend. That way we can make sure we have plenty of time to discuss all that has happened because a lot happened this weekend. Now, Lewis's clutch qualifying. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's the first time all season that a non-Mercedes driver has been on pole in any format, whether it's a sprint or Grand Prix. Correct?
Yep. I think it is.
So that's kind of huge. Granted, the difference between Lewis and Kimi was like 11 hundredths of a second, so it's not like he just went and pulled 2/10 out of his butt to take pole. It was still close, but I think if you are Ferrari, that's huge because you think about Austria, Charles almost had pole there. And then you pull off the sprint pole, and what has Charles's big gripe been most of the season? He can't figure out this car in qualifying. Well, it seems like they're starting to figure it out, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, definitely not in qualifying, but in the race, 100%. You know, it's qualifying is the key. Because you want to be at the front. You want to be trying to pull away and gap the field, which is what I think Ferrari did really, really well. Obviously getting the move done. Obviously it was a poor start from Antonelli, a very, very poor
That was a
start, and
terrible
Ferrari
start.
gambled on that. Yeah, and unfortunately Hamilton got the 5 second for moving with his clutch, which was a little bit unfortunate. But end of the day, what they needed to do, the plan worked. They knew that Anthony was fast, and they knew that Russell and Max were pretty quick as well. Did they have the pace of the front two? Probably not. You could see that Max was very, very angry all weekend about the car, wasn't happy. And then obviously Hamilton done his best, and I think he played the team game in the end.
Yeah,
You could see it. He pulled that. He let
especially in
Leclerc
the
have that
Grand Prix.
4 second gap.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, definitely. He let him have that 4 second gap. Charles's confidence has been very low at the moment, and to take the win as well, I'm pretty stoked for Charles. I think
I think he needed
he's got
this.
it in him. Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's pushed him right up though, right in the fight now. He's got 100 points or just clear of 100 points, and that's massive for him, and it's massive for Ferrari as well. But the biggest thing could be is the strategy that they decided to pit them both, and obviously ending on a safety car, which is they're probably going to look back at that
Questionable.
thinking,
Yeah,
yeah, should we have, because I honestly thought we were going to get a lap of racing, and then I
everybody
think
did.
FIA were a little bit, yeah, I think FIA little bit of a, excuse my language, of a fuck up there,
That's been the
because
story of the season though with the FIA. They've
yeah,
done that
yeah,
so much this season.
that's a big mistake to make though, isn't it?
But at the same time, how big is the mistake at Monaco where you mess up the timing going into the pits? Like that's just been the story of the FIA this year.
But yeah, I'm stoked. I'm stoked for Ferrari. Great, great, great job from them. Pretty stoked for Russell as well. Didn't look like he was going to get that P2. Um, but it was some fantastic racing. Max, Charles, Lewis, Russell, all of them. Antonelli, just fantastic. And it was just great. They were battling. They were battling hard out, and you could definitely see as well. And Brundle said it that my Ferrari had matched Mercedes that weekend.
And I really hope it
There was no.
continues.
I think it's not. I think it's going to go up and down each week with the upgrades. Depending on who brings the upgrades in. If Ferrari bring a few in, and Mercedes bring none in, then they're probably going to have an advantage. Red Bull seem to be up there. Max has always enjoyed Silverstone, but he wasn't happy with the car. He got out qualified by his teammate for the first time this season.
No, it's the second or
Um,
third time
Head
this
judges
season.
second. Was it second?
I think it's the second time.
Um, so that's he's not going to be happy with that. And
I,
then unfortunately with the mistake,
I, I don't
cost him a DNF.
I don't think Max cares that Hadjar outqualified him as much. I think his biggest issue is the car failing him because he said in an interview afterwards, one time of the rear wing not closing all the way, okay, stuff happens. 2 times it's starting to get dangerous. I think Max is
Well,
kind
he
of
had a
getting
go at
fed
Red
up.
Bull.
Yeah, I heard
He
that
had a
he
go
had
at
some
Red Bull,
issues
didn't
with
he?
the higher up management of Red Bull.
Yeah, didn't like the strategy. He didn't like the strategy, and he said
Well,
if it was my idea or my verdict, I would have done something different.
well, not
So
even
Max is very, very abrupt on his meetings, and he doesn't he doesn't let too much out of the bag, but you can definitely tell on his face and how he feels, and
not even
and if this is
necessarily
an
that though.
ongoing,
Like
he's not
supposedly
happy.
he had a meeting with like above Laurel Meckies, like the folks that tell him what to do, kind of big shots at Red Bull, and apparently there's high tensions amongst them. And then this happens, and then the post interview, it's I texted you earlier and told you it would not surprise me if we found out within the next couple of weeks that Max has opted out of his contract to either go to another team or just leave F1 completely. He is, if you watch the radio, he's saying, "I'm tired of this car. I'm tired of this. This is ridiculous." And that's me
Yep,
paraphrasing, but he is really fed up with the way this car is driving, and I can't blame him.
yep. No, I agree. I agree. It's not doing the best.
And you know, you kind of feel for him because he has the ability to be fighting up there with Kimmy and George and Charles and Lewis, and the car is holding him back. So you can only outdrive the car so much, realistically. Last year, he outdrove the car, and I think Red Bull's expecting, oh, if we have any issues, Max will just overcompensate. You can only do it so much before it's unrealistic.
Oh yeah, but you don't see him get many DNFs, to be honest with you. You
That's
know,
fair.
he's had what, 3 this season
Something like that, 2 or 3.
already.
He had the
You know
one.
that's I'm
Did he have it in qualifying or was it in the race in Australia?
trying to remember. You know, he had one in Monaco
Yeah, he had one in
that was
Monaco.
done.
He had the one today
Obviously, yeah. And then when was the last one? Oh, he crashed out in qualifying in Austria, didn't he?
in Australia.
Yeah, not
Oh
in
yeah, and
Australia.
Austria.
Yeah,
He crashed out in
yeah,
qualifying in Austria too. Yeah, like he's having issues that
yeah,
you
in
don't see
Australia.
out of Max Verstappen.
Yeah,
As far as let's look at the sprint real quick because I think this is interesting. How many laps was the sprint? It was 17 laps, right?
yep.
We had over 10 overtakes in 17 laps because we had like 5 in the first 2 laps because it was such back and forth. I can't remember a time in recent years that you get past and then you're right back in the fight to keep on going. Like usually it's a dude gets around you and he's gone and you're kind of up a creek. I do think that that is the
Yep.
only thing that is positive about the battery necessarily in this situation. I don't think it's necessary.
Positivity,
It makes it exciting to sit here.
positivity about that.
It makes it exciting to sit here and watch the back and forth. I know people are
There's
like it's
nothing
fake
positive
racing.
about this fucking battery.
I'm
There's
trying.
nothing positive about.
I'm
Like,
trying.
I don't know how you say it.
I'm
Like, there's
trying.
nothing. Like, for instance, Brundle's going, oh, it's great. Don't get me wrong, the first 7, 8 laps were great, but it was only because the guys were running out of battery. You
Yeah.
know, one of the cars would boost the battery to make the overtake, and then all of a sudden you see Hamilton, he got the move done on Russell, right? Fantastic move. But then, what, literally 20 seconds later, Russell overtakes him down the main straight.
Are you talking
It's
about
just,
in
it's just that.
the
It
Grand
is.
Prix?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not fucking skill. It's not. It's not. It's battering. You know, it's the same
Yeah.
with the DRS. If you're in the DRS, you get the move done. You know, if you've got less battery than the car in front and they've got more battery, they'll catch you. You know, and then they're talking about Max with his battery against Russell, but he stopped way earlier. He
Oh,
stopped way earlier than anyone else, and you could see the Red Bull were going for a 2-stop. They were never going for a 1-stop.
now
Ferrari
now
were, and
now
so was Mercedes.
as far as the sprint stuff going, since that's where we started with this before we went down the rabbit hole of the madness of the battery and the Grand Prix. Um, I think this furthers what I've been saying all season. If George does not qualify good, George is not in the fight and can't get himself into the fight. And when I say that, where did he qualify in the sprint? Do you know? I'm gonna have to look it up real quick because I can't remember. I know it was further back.
6th.
Was it fifth or sixth?
I think it was 5th or 6th.
It
I
was
remember.
it was one of those two, but he was nowhere in the fight in that sprint, was he?
Yeah. No.
If he can't,
They always change the setups though. They always change the setup
he was in fifth.
for the sprint to the race.
No. I agree with that. I agree with that. But my point is, when you look at qualifying, George cannot overcompensate. Like he can't come back from a bad qualifying. Kimi had a bad qualifying at Austria because of the lifting and the yellow flag and all that other stuff. But he almost he made it a fight to come back to win and ended up on the podium. George didn't have a chance at that in the sprint. I think it shows just the level of talent that Kimi has over George. Is just because Kimi has a bad qualifying doesn't mean Kimi's out of it. George has a bad qualifying, George is out of it. Would you disagree with that?
Yes.
Really? Why do you disagree?
The car.
But they're in the same car.
No, they never have the same car. The
They're
car's
both in.
always different. The car's set up to different drivers.
I mean, I
And
get
there's
that.
obviously reliability issues. And Nelly, that's two issues now. and a very strange issue, to say the least. I've never seen anything like that in Formula One.
Well, I'm
A
talking about
wheel plate or
I'm talking about
whatever.
as far as the take out the reliability issues. You take both of them having a good car from Mercedes that fits them. Kimi can come back from a bad qualifying. George cannot. I have not seen him do it all season.
Oh,
Think about it.
Kimi is faster than Russell,
That's what I'm saying.
without a
He is a
doubt.
superior driver in talent, and it is showing because,
Faster.
yeah.
Don't know about superior.
I don't know. I'm. You think about the races this
He
season
hasn't won
so far.
anything. He
He's
hasn't won
won more
anything.
than George.
He hasn't won anything. He has not won a championship yet. So
But what
then
has
when
George
you
done?
say superior driver, well, he hasn't done anything. We would
Exactly.
say the same thing.
That's what I'm
Superior
saying.
drivers are Verstappen,
Well, no.
Lando,
I am saying
and Hamilton.
I am saying Kimi is superior to George. Specifically, if you take
Faster.
George
I
and
won't say
Kimi,
superior, I'd say faster.
we're saying the same
Faster.
thing with different words.
I think Kimi is not going to win this championship because I don't think he's got the experience. And you could definitely see that when the car went wrong.
No, I agree. Well,
100%
I,
conviction,
you,
no problem trying to fight it. But what's the point? You destroy that car, you go into Spa and Hungary, you're going to use the same car,
but
right?
you
And he's
got
absolutely ridiculed that. That doesn't help the tank. They needed to retire that car because, end of the day, right? You look at it in two ways, just to go off topic, right? He has the issue. He has track limits, right? He says it's not his fault. Well, it is your fault, mate, because you're driving a damaged car. And you're driving a car which is very dangerous because you've got loads and loads of other cars going past you, right? That's number one. Number two is why would you try and continue
oh,
to
we
try and
got
why would you try and continue with a car when it's damaged and you've got a 5 second penalty? And then
see.
number three, he continues with the car, right, and finishes P16.
We look at this
So
differently. We look at this differently then. So my thing is say you take the track limits out of this, right? And he goes, I'm fighting because I'm trying to get any points we can. Most drivers would not do that. They're going to throw a fit. It's not going my way. I can't get where I was at. I'm done. How
not
many
necessarily. No.
how many
Not
points did the
necessarily.
championship come down to last season?
12.
2. There was a 2-point difference
Was it 12?
between no, it was 2. Between Lando and Max Verstappen, it was a 2-point difference.
No, he was 12 behind in Abu Dhabi.
I'm saying after Abu Dhabi, he was only 2 points off of Lando. Go look it up real quick.
Oh, okay.
And
I
because they were also talking about
personally, no.
this.
A lot of drivers would go for it. Lewis Hamilton finished 3 tyres in Silverstone.
I mean, I guess that's fair. I don't know.
You know, like the thing is, for instance, we've seen him go off track. He went off track 3 times in Austria, no penalty. Went off time, I think 3 times, and then look at Stroll. Stroll violated 5 track limit penalties
Yeah, that's
and got a
ridiculous.
penalty. Got a 5 second.
I don't understand how Stroll
So,
has a car that will turn and he can't keep it on the track.
but they seem to be like for the FIA. I don't know. It doesn't seem consistent. You know, you look at that. You look at Stroll, 5
Mhm.
track limit penalties. Right, he gets a 5 second. I think Anthony White might have done it 3 times in Silverstone,
Yeah,
maybe
and got a 5 second.
when he had the issue, and he got a 5.
Yeah,
Right,
I don't understand
but
why
he then
Kimmy got
decided.
that.
Well, he should have got it because he should have got a penalty in Austria as well
No, I agree with the one in
because he missed
Austria.
the track 3 times,
I agree with that.
but he didn't.
I don't agree
He
with the
didn't get a
one.
penalty though.
I don't agree with it today, and the reason I don't is because it says it's
It's dangerous
leaving.
driving.
No, I get that, but the other thing is leaving the track. If that is your whole thing, and you're not talking about driving a car that should not be driven, the rule states leaving the track to gain an advantage. How did he gain an advantage? He lost
Well,
time.
no, but he's driving a car dangerously, and
But
he
that's not
should
what
have
they
been given
penalized him for.
Well, they should have put. Well,
Now,
that's down to them in
I
the day.
agree with
I just
you.
don't understand why he continued.
I,
And Bono told him. He told him to retire the car.
I agree with what you're saying that he should not have been driving the car if you can't turn. and you can penalize him for that. But if you're going to penalize him, you have to penalize him within the rules, which would be that, not saying we're going to penalize you for leaving the track, because the rest of that rule is in gaining advantage. Where did he gain an advantage?
Yep. Oh yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
And so
I get why he continued racing the car. He's leading the championship. He's trying to score an extra point, but it's never going to happen.
I think what we're going to see is, especially after all the appeals that we've seen after Monaco, Mercedes is going to put in an appeal to override that penalty, and they're going to make that argument that how did he gain an advantage? And they're going to say, well, he drove a car that he shouldn't have been driving because it was damaged so bad. And their argument is going to be, well, that's not what the penalty is for. The penalty is for leaving the track. He did not gain an advantage for leaving the track, so why does he have this penalty? And they're going to end up having to overturn it because that's a sound argument, and we're going to see Kimi with points.
No.
You don't think so?
Definitely will. No, definitely will. They won't appeal that.
I don't know. I could see it happening. After
they appeal it, they'll open up an investigation that he'll be driving a dangerous car and he'll be penalised for that instead. So I think whatever way they do it, even if it gets overturned, he'll get a penalty and whatever.
How
because
are they gonna...
you're supposed to go into the pits and either retire the car or fix the damage. Otherwise, you get I think is that a black pen?
Black and white flag.
Yeah, black and white flag for unsafe car or whatever. I can't think what it is.
Unsafe machinery.
I'm not a Kimi fan, unfortunately. I'm glad because it spices things up in the championship. I think he's got quite arrogant in the last few weeks, and it's bit him on the ass.
See, I have a different perception of it. A lot of people are saying that he's arrogant. I think people are misunderstanding his confidence. And the reason I say that is he's 19, so his confidence comes off a lot more arrogant than, say, Max's confidence. And when Max was his age and carried the same confidence, people said he was arrogant as well, but then he backed it up, and people no longer said that. And I see that being the same thing that's going to happen with Kimi. Once he wins a championship, nobody's going to be saying that because it's just his confidence.
There's a big word there. If.
Okay, that's fair. And the reason I say that, a lot of people, well, nobody on the podcast really knows this. I ran cross country in college. And I came from a high school that was known for putting out cross country runners. My senior year of high school, I went to nationals, and 10 other of our guys went to nationals. When I went to college, I went to a smaller college just because it was the college that I wanted to go to. And when I got there, the first week of practice, coach goes, "We're going to do a mile time trial, but you're running it at race pace." I said, "Okay, I'm going to run this mile." I think it was like a 5:30 mile. And the guy, one of the juniors on the team he said, "No, not all out. Your race pace." I was like, "This is my race pace." What he didn't know is at that time I run a sub 5-minute mile. And I said, "This will be my race pace." And from then on, he thought I was being cocky and arrogant. It wasn't that. It was me being confident in knowing my abilities. When that race came, I hit that exact split for every mile. I think that's what's happening with Kimi. I think Kimi is being misunderstood. He is not being arrogant. He's not trying to be cocky. He's been around racing since he was 8 years old. His family has owned racing teams. He knows what he's doing, and people forget that. Yes, he's 19, so he doesn't put it in the right words. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do. I think he's got so much experience. I think he's got so much talent. But I think it's going to come down to experience. And I think with the reliability of the Mercedes that we've seen, that's another DNF. Well, not another DNF, but it's another well, he's got no points, right? He's finished P16. He's been given the 5-second time penalty. I don't think he would have scored any points anyway. I'm not sure. I think Gasly may have overtaken him.
If he doesn't have the penalty, the way that race ends, he finishes in the points.
I think he finishes P11. Hang on.
No, he would have finished P10. The reason why, or no, he would have finished P9. The reason why Colapinto got 9th place is because of his penalty, because he was in P9 when the caution came out. Colapinto and Gasly were behind him.
No, I thought Gasly got him. Because he pitted again to fix the front wing, and it still didn't work.
That's when he came out in front of. That's when he came out in front of Colapinto. And Colapinto was ahead of
Okay,
Gasly.
I thought he got P11. Oh well, but like I said, I think experience is going to be the key, and I think with the other guys, because if you look at it now, it's what 27 points. It's it's one win
Is
now.
it?
Russell wins the next. Yes, 20. I think it's 27 points
It's
because Russell got P2.
179 to 154. So my quick math in my head is backfiring. 179 to 154. Let me throw it in the calculator. 179 minus 154. It's a 25-point gap. So that's literally one
25.
DNF
There you
and
go.
George
One win.
winning.
One win.
Yeah,
One win now. So it's
one
not
win
even
and him out of the
closer.
points once.
And it's pushed Hamilton up there as well. It's
Yeah,
pushed Leclerc up there.
this
Max
is
has
still
lost
any
out.
man's fight.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And there's so many races to go, and you've already seen the issues, and there's more upgrades to come. There's obviously a lot more different tracks. I think Spa is next. I think.
Yes,
Remember,
Belgium is next. So Spa is next.
and that's going to be a fantastic track.
Now let's also look at the teams real quick, right? So Mercedes has 233 points, or sorry, 333 points. Ferrari has 255. They have a 78-point gap, and with the reliability issues that Mercedes has right now, do we end up seeing Ferrari overtake Mercedes in the constructors? Is this like actually a possibility?
I don't know. I
We've
really don't know.
Ferrari's brought that gap down drastically. If you think about it, think about it like this: the last 3 weekends, which teams won the most out of the last 3 weekends?
It's
Ferrari.
Ferrari, isn't it?
Yeah,
Hmm.
because Lewis won, then George won at Austria, and then Charles won today. So 2 out of the last 3 races have been won by Ferrari. If they keep this pace up, Mercedes may end up losing the constructor because they cannot keep an engine or some kind of other issue from happening to their cars. Is that not crazy?
I think Ferrari. I think you can't underestimate Ferrari at the moment. Hamilton's driving with a lot of confidence.
I think Charles is going to come back with that
He was
confidence.
struggling. Well, it's one race.
No, I agree.
It brings a lot of motivation, a lot of confidence going into it. What do they bring in Spa?
But
Do they bring any upgrades in Spa? We'll have to wait and see. Hamilton's driving with great confidence as well. He was a bit frustrated. He was struggling. You could see his tyres fell off a lot earlier than the others,
yeah,
and but he done a great job defending. And he probably got Leclerc to win in the end because
I think so.
of how much of a gap there was. And then when Antonelli had his problem, that was it. And it was going to be interesting to see if Russell would have gone into the pits and got on the softs. It would have been a one-lap dash. Would have been very interesting to see how quick Russell would have been against Hamilton and Leclerc as
Yeah,
well.
but if
But
he had gone in
that
the
wasn't
pits,
the
he
case.
wouldn't have been in the fight in the first place. He would have fallen back down the order. He had to stay out on mediums. The
Yeah,
reason he was
and
even in second place is because he stayed out, and Lewis and Lando and just Lewis and Lando pit, and it allowed him to move into second place.
but good decision on doing that though, because he
For
got that
sure.
P2 and
Yeah.
he got those extra points, which definitely helps him in the championship.
Yeah. It was definitely risk to reward. He had less risk with higher reward because if you go back to racing, you're going to end up falling back to the spot that you would have been in if you'd gone to the pits. If you end up going through to the end race and you're still in that position, well, you just took second place. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like risk to reward, it made more sense for him to stay out.
Definitely.
Now,
Good decision.
trying to look at my notes real quick. Let's talk about Colapinto for a second. I know a lot of people have hated on Colapinto. Briatore being one of those because he said, I don't understand why Argentina fans are so happy for him. What has he done? He hasn't won anything. Well, you back Gasly. What has he done? He's won like 3 races in his career. That's neither here nor there. I just can't stand Briatore. He went from 19th to 9th. Yes, Kimi had a penalty to get him in 9th place, He went from 19th to 9th. Who would have ever thought that Colapinto would have pulled that off? He's the last person I expected that out of. Now, obviously, they didn't show a
No.
lot of his. I don't know if he pulled off, like, hey, he grabbed 3 places off the start, or, like, how he pulled that off. But I feel like Colapinto is finally showing, like, don't count him out. Last season was a bad car that did not fit him. And in all reality, it didn't fit Gasly because Gasly struggled in it also. Look at him this season. He's looking a lot better. Or are
I
you on
think
the hate Colapinto train?
I'm not hating it at all. I think they've done what Ferrari and Merc have done. They've grabbed with both hands and they've developed a very good car. And the Alpine looks very, very good. It's a consistent point scoring every week. Same with
Yeah.
the V Cup.
Well, I'm
And
saying,
it wouldn't surprise me that Colapinto's done that because he's done that all season.
yeah,
Last week, yeah, didn't have the race, didn't have the good, didn't really have a good race. But you know, it's been very, very close between. I think it was very, very close between him and Max in Austria as well, because Max was very, very close to getting knocked out. So
he's beat
you know,
Gasly
I
multiple
wouldn't
times
surprise me.
now.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me with Alpine.
I,
You know, look, I think you got to, if you're moving away from Alpine, look at V Cup. Lawson finished P6 in the V Cup.
yeah,
P6, like that's what's going on there. Do you know what I
I think the
mean?
midfield is much
It's
stronger
like,
this year.
oh, I think Audi are close as well. I think Audi got in the points as well, which is good to see.
Let's get
Shame about
Bonotto out of
Hulkenberg,
that
unfortunately.
team. You will hear me say that every
But
week
no,
until it happens. We need to get rid of Bonotto from that team.
it doesn't surprise me with Colapinto. I think Alpine have been fantastic.
No, I agree. I think at this point the Colapinto hate is forced. When he was at Williams, he didn't do much, but he was also in a Williams. Last season, he didn't do much in Alpine, but that Alpine came in last place for a reason in constructors. And people don't want to look at that. They just look at what he's done in his career, but he hasn't been given the opportunity. He's being given a better car, and I think he's finished 6th one race this season. He pulled 10 places in this race moving up. The hate on Colapinto is so forced, it's ridiculous. Is ultimately where I'm at. And I know if Alan was here, he'd be yelling at me about this because he thinks that Colapinto is just kind of a fraud and should not be in F1. But I disagree with that. I think that he has come a long way. That's just me personally, though.
Agree.
Trying to make sure we didn't miss anything. I guess something we kind of talked about is if you're Oscar, how frustrated are you with the season? You went from fighting for a championship last season to this season, yet another thing has gone wrong for you. And it's not really your fault. It just seems like he's had more weekends with issues that he can't control that are outside of his reach than he's had where it's up to him to just drive the car. And when he's just driving the car, he podiums. He podiumed in, was it Japan or China? And then I think he podiumed in Japan, and then he podiumed again in Miami. You give him the car and it doesn't fail him, and he works out good. You give him this car and he's having issues left and right, and it's got to be so frustrating.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. But you just got to keep pushing. You know, he's capable of putting it up there. He just didn't have the pace this weekend, unfortunately. Well, I don't know if he had the pace, but he hasn't had the pace for a while. And it seems like it's up and down at the moment between him and Lando as well. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with them going into Spa. Because Lando was just driving on his own. He got close to the guys at the end, but that was due to obviously the safety car. But yeah, it's interesting to see. I've got to say though, I know we probably didn't touch base on it, but the liveries this week were
Oh,
fantastic.
I wanted to talk
Apart
about
from
that too.
probably
I love
McLaren's
Cadillacs.
just gorgeous. It was beautiful. It was I'm the Cadillac TP in my league, and that has got to come to the game because the one that we're playing with at the moment is so boring and plain. But it's such a shame for a livery to be so good, but the car to be so shit.
For marketing,
You
the
know what I mean?
marketing team is
Like,
fantastic because everybody liked talking about that livery.
oh,
But the car
it
is
was
so
just fantastic.
bad.
It just everyone just stopped and looked at it, but like, you know. At the moment, I'm looking at it with the two teams, and I'm thinking, just why? Just what is the point? Like, Fernando Alonso, he's going to retire this season. I
He's
cannot see him going for another season of heartache.
I see him going
Like
to
what?
Alpine
Where he like
because
the only thing he fucking won at the weekend was the fucking Lego race.
Briatore has come out and said, I believe it was Briatore that said that the Alpine wants to get Fernando Alonso. I think that either they see massive improvement from Nui when we get these upgrades in Hungary, or uh we see Alonso use his old connections with Briatore to go to Alpine.
Nah, nah. Do you know the only thing I can see that happening, and I saw it because he was there this weekend. Christian Horner is going to go to Aston Martin.
I don't think Nui's gonna let it happen. He's already tried once, and
Well,
Nui vetoed it on the spot right then and there. He said he will not work with Christian Horner, and
it's
it's
all in the
not.
media. It's all in the media.
Well, that's fair, and well, also if you think about it, if it's true, Adrian Newey is not just the head of technical development. He's not just leading this team right now. He's also a partial owner. So his
He might
weight,
resign.
he
So,
might, he might. It's a terrible car right now, but I mean,
no, it's fucking shit.
he built
Like
it.
I said, the only thing that Fernando's won was the fucking Lego race.
Yeah. At least he's still
Do
beating
you know what I mean?
Lance.
It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And 2 weeks in a row, the Cadillac's caught on fire. Like, fucking hell, man.
Did a car
Like,
catch on
what?
fire this week? Did I
Yeah,
miss something?
that's yeah. That's why I was either in. I think it was in the sprint. I think,
It had to have been
and
in the
they were
sprint.
making jokes.
We only had one DNF in the Grand Prix. It was Hulkenberg DNF'd because
Oh, they might have fucking put it out then.
we almost did not have a DNF this week for the first time all
Yeah,
season,
but
and then he DNF'd with 12 laps to go.
it's becoming a joke because
Yeah,
like I was listening to Crofty, and Crofty's even making jokes of the Aston Martin because they were joking to say that he stopped
on the formation lap.
to start obviously on the formation lap, and they said, oh no, it's fine, he'll have hot tires, he'll be leading by lap one,
Yeah,
and it's like you know what I mean? It's a bit soul destroying for a man that won
was a two-time
uh,
champion
two-time champion in Renault, which is going back in the day,
and fought
and
with
I love that
Ferrari.
car, you know, like, and now, like, they just can't finish,
Yeah,
they're 3.5 seconds off P1.
I
It's
never
fucking
I
ludicrous.
never thought I'd see the day that the reason why Fernando Alonso couldn't score points wasn't because he was just too old. It was because the car simply could not be driven.
But the thing is, like, it's like going off topic. Well, it's not off topic. It's still Formula One related, right? But if you're reading in the articles and you're reading into the media, Lance Stroll does not want to race F1 for Aston Martin. He's
Nobody
already stated
does.
that and come out and said that. He doesn't want to race, but the only reason he's in the car is of his old man. So, like, do the fucking sport a favour and get rid of him
Well,
and
I
get
don't.
someone in that wants to race the car.
Let me make devil's advocate here for you for a second. Do you think he's just tired of F1, or do you think he's just tired of dealing with that car?
I think he's fucking. I think we're tired of him.
I think we're tired of his laziness. I think he's tired of dealing with the
It's
crash
just
car.
he's just stopping an opportunity. It's just stopping an opportunity, right? Like, well, Formula One is all about growth, all about development. The F2. What is the point of F2? You tell me.
I mean, it's developmental to bring guys up to F1, yeah. But if you have people like Lance Stroll
Precisely.
there,
How
how
many
can you bring
F2?
somebody up?
Okay. How many F2 drivers last season and the season before that have gone into F1? How many?
Compared to previous years, quite a bit because you had Kimmy, you had. Well, I guess was he in F2
Last
that
season.
year? Are you
Yep.
saying
He
this
drove for
year?
Prema. Yep.
Okay,
Last
so
season. How
so
many have gone up to F1?
I mean, if we talk specifically this season, we had Lindblad. If you talking last season, you had Gabby Bortoleto, you had Isaac
No,
Hadjar.
that's 3-4 years ago. Last two
No,
seasons.
no, he came up with Kimmy. He came up. It was Kimmy, Isaac, Behrman, uh, Gabby Bortoleto, and I feel like somebody else all came up at the same time together last year.
La-
Yeah,
Behrman's done a year. Behrman's already done a year.
that's what I'm saying. They all came up last year.
Yeah, but who came up this season?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Lindblad, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, one. That's it.
But
That is it.
go back
One.
3 years ago. How many people came up 3 years ago?
Oh yeah, heaps
Zero.
did because they were changed. Yeah, but they were changing things, you know.
Yeah.
But what that's the thing. That's what I don't understand. F2 is about development for that stepping gap to go into F1. Poor Twan, who won the championship in F2 about 2-3 seasons ago, hasn't raced. He was the reserve driver of Alfa Romeo. Didn't race. Right? Done. He's the F2 driver. He's the reserve driver of McLaren. You've got Marty. You've got Montoya's son. You've got there's so many others. Crawford. There's so many drivers. When are they going to get given an opportunity?
I mean, I can understand that
for
argument.
me, I'd put Crawford in the car next season. Crawford needs to go in that car. Stroll's had long enough and done fuck all in the car. And the only reason he's in the car is because his old man's going to, his old man runs the team. But if you're looking from a sports point of view, Aston Martin are going downhill. They have got one of the biggest technical principles, whatever, owners developing that car, and it's a shitbox. It doesn't work. Now, 3.5 seconds off P1. 3.5. Do you know how slow that is?
Yeah, that's insane. Now, my question is, do you think that the upgrades that they bring in Hungary are going to make that big of a difference?
No, fuck all.
You think they're just going to make it worse?
No, nothing. It hasn't done anything.
Well, they haven't brought any upgrades yet. They brought one set of upgrades.
They need to change the fucking engine. Get rid of Honda.
No.
Get rid of Honda.
Honestly, I don't know if it's a Honda issue. I think it might be a Newi's design issue.
I think it's a fucking Honda issue.
I've heard two sides. I've heard one is that it's Honda's issue, and then I've heard the other side is that it is the way that Newey designed that car. It's not optimal for the Honda engine.
It's the same fucking design as all the rest.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought process also.
Everything. It's just a different engine.
And a different aerodynamics.
And you look at the engine, they had the problem, couldn't they? They couldn't figure out there was something to do with Honda. They couldn't figure it out. It couldn't go 15 laps. They were having nerve damage. There was vibrations going through the whole car.
At least we got past that. At least they're finishing races now.
But the thing is, it's so soul destroying because it's like they turn up every week to do what? Finish fucking last.
But at least they're finishing now.
What is the point?
At least they're finishing now.
Finishing? Fucking 2 laps fucking behind.
I'm just saying, at least the car finished the race this time.
Yeah, because we're under fucking safety car. I'd finish the fucking race if you're going fucking 30 miles an hour behind a bloody safety. It's just shit. And it's the same with Cadillac.
Hey, at least Cadillac.
They put the car.
At least Cadillac out-qualified somebody this time.
It's like, sorry, going off topic here. It's like having 2 fucking retired pilots driving that car. It is, though.
At least Cadillac out-qualified Alpine this time.
But they're not scoring any points.
That's fair.
It's just turning up to fucking participate. What the fuck?
Let's see where the standings are, because I'm curious on how this is working. Oh, yeah, Cadillacs and dead last with 0 points. I forgot that Aston Martin got 1 point in Monaco because of everybody DNFing.
It's now taking over me as well because I only got 6 points over 2 fucking races in my league.
I mean, at
So
least, at
I don't know
least,
what's going on.
at least Aston Martin has a point this season.
It's just disappointing, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
yeah,
I
but the only
expected
reason
more.
that Fernando got points is
It's,
because every single person in front got a fucking penalty.
or DNF'd.
Yes, you know what I mean? I just don't. I love Aston Martin. I remember when Fernando came to Aston Martin, he raced at Bahrain, and he was third position, I think, if I remember.
Podium, yeah.
And he was doing fantastic. What has gone wrong?
Everything.
And one thing I don't understand is that Red Bull were with Honda. They've been with Honda for a while.
And they won
They must have
championships.
said something but they must have said something to Aston Martin when Aston Martin decided to go to Honda from Mercedes, and obviously Red Bull go to Ford. Ford have just come into the sport, right? To
Yeah.
F1, the new power unit, right? And they've had their
They've
issues,
they've had a
but their
pretty strong
car is
power unit
lasting.
though. People say they've had their
That's what I mean.
issues,
Well, yeah,
but who
because
has the
every
strongest
fucking
power
car
unit on the grid?
yeah, because every car in UK is a Ford.
I mean, that's fair, and a lot of them over here are too. But
I'm just
that's not the point.
I'm just upset because I
I
want to
ex-
see Cadillac, and I want to see Aston Martin. I want to see them battling. I want to see them battling I want to see them battling the Audis, the Hasses, and they're just miles behind. I look at qualifying, and I'm like looking at Russell's time or Antonelli's time of a 1:28.2, right? And I'm looking at Alonso, and he's crossing the line of a 32.7. And
yeah,
I'm thinking,
this is
what are you
ridiculous.
driving?
A brick with wheels.
Like, like the gaps, like because of the battery now, you're seeing the gaps pull out, like, and you're like, oh, it's a 5-second gap between Charles and Hamilton, right? But as soon as they lose battery, that gap drops very, very quickly. Now, back in the day when we had the DRS and all that, you
Yeah,
couldn't pull that 5-second gap. It would take you ages to pull it back. And
yeah.
you're pulling it back a lot quicker now. But these guys, they're just nowhere to be seen.
Yeah,
And
there's no helping
like
them right now. And the reason it's so
it's
upsetting for me is when this started, I said, I think Adrian Newey is going to build a rocket ship for Aston Martin, and we could see Fernando Alonso fighting to potentially maybe not win a championship, but finish his career off at the top of the driver's list. And now they gave him a potato with wheels. And it is very, very sad. And I'm not even a
more than a
Fernando
fucking
Alonso fan.
potato.
I can't imagine being a Fernando Alonso fan right now. Can you imagine?
It's just I just find it so difficult for him. And why would you want to continue in the sport when all you're doing is finishing last? And the thing is it looks like, is it going to get any better? Right? What are we in now? 10 rounds? Round 9?
Give me 2 seconds and I'll tell you. Uh, we had Australia, China, Japan, Miami, so that's 4. Canada, Monaco, Barcelona, Austria, that's 8. Belgium makes round 10.
Yeah. So after Belgium, there's 12 rounds left.
Yeah,
12 rounds,
yeah.
and we're 10 rounds going in, and there's been no improvement. Right. So what? You're gonna 12 more races to finish fucking last.
I I just
Like,
I feel for him. This has
unless
to be the
that is a
most.
fucking 300 horsepower development, they're going to win a race. I can't see it.
I don't see him winning a race. I just want to see Alonso finishing the points regularly. And I thought that when he finished in the points in Monaco, I was like, okay, maybe I understand there was penalties involved. I understand there was DNFs
I think
involved.
Stroll straight lines the grid. Alonso might get a pen. Might get a point.
But like maybe
I
hey,
don't know.
he was close enough to end up at the points. There was people to finish behind him. So maybe we start seeing him in the points. And it has
I think we'll see Cadillac in the points before we see an Aston Martin.
I tend to agree with that. And the reason I agree with that is the
I think
fact
we'll see
that
Cadillac.
Cadillac and Aston Martin, the first one to actually out qualify somebody that wasn't one of them was Bottas and Cadillac. He out qualified Colapinto that was in an Alpine. Fernando Alonso hasn't out well. Yeah, they out qualified Cadillac. And like the beginning of the season, it was imagine how bad you have to be for the Aston Martin to outqualify you. But now they can't even outqualify Cadillac. Cadillac has made such improvement to their car, which sounds crazy to say that because where have they been? And like we talked about, they've been a joke, but they've still managed to progress to where now even Aston Martin's not keeping up with them.
Yeah.
Granted, that's not saying much because they
I
have a
don't know.
toaster with wheels, but that's not the point. I see the development leaning in Cadillac's favor. Did you have
Yeah.
anything else you wanted to say before we wind down for tonight?
Oh, I think it's been fantastic. I just want to, yeah, I think the Silverstone Grand Prix definitely gives some surprises. Obviously, Antonelli getting the penalty, finishing 16th. Max Verstappen DNFing. Very unfortunate for him. Hadjar outscoring him in the race. I think he had a really good race. Ferrari back on top.
Let's go,
They'll be
Charles.
happy with that. Um, yeah, and obviously Charles's first win of the season as well. So I think Spa is going to bring in a lot more as well. It's a very, very different type of track.
Yes.
Speed is going to be the key there, I think. You're definitely going to need speed. It's going to be very interesting to see Upper Rouge and Redion, how the cars cope. What will the weather be as well? Because we were forecasted rain at Silverstone and it didn't actually come. So
Being a Charles
yeah,
Leclerc
I don't
fan,
know.
to all the people out there that were hating on Charles for the last 3 weeks, look at this. He wins. Get out my face. That's all I got to
It's
say.
good. It is good. But like I said, it's one race, and I
Well,
said this with Lewis as well.
to
It's
what?
one race. It's good. It's good confidence for them, and
If y'all
I
heard a
think
big,
it's gonna be very. Go on.
if y'all heard a big boom, lightning just struck right outside our house.
Wow. It's gonna be interesting to see what Mercedes do at Spa. Obviously, with the issue with Antonelli, is it gonna now go to Russell?
I just hope
You
Mercedes
know,
keeps having issues. As a Ferrari fan, I need this. Also, I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad. I just
no, you're good.
didn't want
I
to.
think it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to Spa. I'm looking forward to more Formula One. Actually, I get a bit pissed off with all these break weeks as well. So going into next week again, having another race is going to be really good. I think it's 3 weeks, 3 more weeks, isn't it, or 2 more races, isn't
We
it?
got
Each
July
on the bounce.
17th. We have Belgium. July 24th. We have Hungary. And then we don't have another
Oh, so
race
there
till
is a
August
week off.
21st. So, like,
There
for a
is a week
month.
off. Then. So it's not this week. It's next week.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not this week, it's next week. And then we have
Yeah. So look.
I believe it's then it's a double header as far as week wise, and then it's mid-season break, so we have a month off, and then they hit the ground again with a August 21st to 23rd race, and then September 4th uh they have Italy. I think it's Monza by looking at the shape of the track. It's not Imola.
Yeah.
So
No, it's good. Good. No, it was good. Really, really good race. Enjoyed it. Sprint, bit boring. Feature, very, very good. A
I
lot of fun.
disagree. The sprint was
And
fun to watch.
yes and no. I
the
thought. I thought
first
the. I
first
thought
couple
the
laps
feature
were
had
fun to
more
watch.
action. Yeah, I thought the yeah, I think the guys learnt a lot from that though as well. Like Brundle and Crofty were saying, I think they
Yeah,
learnt a lot because you could see Max was really hard on his tires, and then when it came to the race, he wasn't.
he looked a
He was
lot better.
watching. I think it was just watching Russell and Hamilton go at it for ages, and he was just sitting in the wings and just waiting for the mistakes.
I just did. Hey, we lost power. We had lightning right outside.
Your podcast ended. The episode is over.